Hey guys, the purpose of this video is to introduce you to Math 1170 for fall 2017. You can see that I've signed into my SSU, and pretty much everything we do in this class begins with Blackboard. So let's go ahead and sign into Blackboard. You can see that Shawnee State has upgraded its Blackboard over the last couple of weeks. Now, these are a bunch of classes I teach which aren't interesting to you, but what is interesting to you, hopefully, is Math 1170. Now, when you go to the home page on Blackboard, you'll see that I've cleaned up a bunch of the stuff that you typically see if you're familiar with Blackboard. But the folder, or at least the tab on the left side, it's probably most important, and you're going to use the most is content. So if we click that, you're going to see that I've already uploaded some stuff. All right. Now the first thing I want to do is, well, I've got three things I want to do here. First of all, I want to go over the class syllabus, which if we click that folder, you can see it's accessible right there. We'll download that in just a second. Another thing is Mymathlab. How do you access that? I'll talk about that. And then I'll also show you how to access videos for the class. I teach online classes a little differently than a lot of professors. Some kind of just say, okay, here's the book, go read it, figure it out, do some assignments. I don't. I don't think that's appropriate for teaching mathematics. I actually teach you the material in videos. So instead of coming into a classroom and watching me give the same illustrations and tell the same goofy jokes and the same stories, and I put it up in video, and then you can watch the video anytime you want, well, within reason, and then you'll have an assignment due on Mymathlab each and every week. All right, so more about that in just a second. So let's begin with the class syllabus. So when I click this, now ultimately the video that you're watching, the link with to it will be right here, but right now I'm creating it, so for obvious reasons it can't be in two places at one time. So I download the syllabus and I click it, and it's going to open up, which is good. And we have our syllabus. Now, a couple of things. First of all, it's an online section of 1170. Guys, I think I know as much about this class as anyone. I actually created it in 1998, I believe it was, or 96, one of the two, a long time ago. I created the course. Back then it was Math 170 when we were in quarters. But anyway, my name is Doug Darbro. As far as addressing me, you're probably not going to see me that much. So Dr. Darbro, just don't call me Mr. Darbro. You can call me Doug. I respond to Doug. Some students get creative with it, triple D, D cubed, stuff like that. That's cool too. Office hours, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, those times. Guys, if nothing else, just stop by and say hello. I actually love meeting my students, so I'd love to meet you guys. Office hours, I'm sorry, office phone. The email I just highlighted, extremely important, especially considering this is an online class. Now my office, just in case you do want to come by and get help, or again, just stop by and introduce yourself and meet me. My office is kind of hard to find, so because of that, I kind of went overboard and created a picture. The probably easiest way to get to my office is from Massey Hall. Go through the right door, go into the hallway, and make a right. And if you walk down the hallway, you're going to pass the dean's office on the right. And if you keep on walking down, you're going to see a door. Now, a lot of people haven't even noticed this door. It's kind of a small hidden door. But when you walk down the hallway, when you see it to your right, there's going to be some stairs that go down to the basement. And then you're going to see this door that no one ever knew was there. If you'll look directly left, you'll see the math department. So go through that door and come in, and my office is at 113. You can ask anybody in here where I am, and everybody knows me. So guys, if you want to come and see me, that's how to find my office. Catalog description, I'm not going to read that to you. It's just a formal presentation of what you're going to learn in this class. General education program requirement. You probably figured out now that completing your degree is about checking a bunch of boxes. Well, complete this class successfully, you can check the box of the quantitative reasoning component for the general education program. ADA statement, very important, probably not as applicable to a face-to-face class because you've got ample time. You can watch videos over and over and over and over. You can pause them. You can, if it kind of reduces the need for a note taker. I think. I'm not an expert in this stuff, but it seems like it may. Anyway, long story short, if there's any accommodations that you are entitled to by ADA, let me know, and I will do everything in my power to make sure that those accommodations are provided to you. Computer access, it's kind of a duh statement. This is an online class, therefore you need a computer and a reliable internet service. Just think that one through. Technology, you're going to need a Texas Instrument TI-83 or 84. It's required. I'm going to teach you some really, really, really cool stuff on like calculating payments. And, one of the problems we do, let's say you buy a house, $150,000 home. You finance it over 30 years, make monthly payments. Do you really save much money if you would add like $50 a month to your payment? Well, guys, using the 8384 calculator, I'm going to show you how to get this down to the very penny of how much you save by adding money to your payments. It's got a program in there called TVM Solver that you're going to become very good at. I'll tell you, I'm going to teach you stuff that will change your life. I know it sounds kind of dramatic, but it will. You will no longer go buy a car or a house without walking in there looking like some little nerd carrying your little TI-83 or 84 calculator. Because, guys, I'm going to tell you something. And I don't mean to step on any toes because my father-in-law is a car salesman. But those guys will rip you off. And I've caught them red-handed. Hey, here's the car I want. I'm going to pay some down. Going to finance the rest of it. What's my payment? They tell you what your payment is. They tell you what your interest rate is. You pull out your handy-dandy TI-83, 84 calculator and plug it in and do some stuff that I'm going to teach you to in this class. And you find out they're screwing you out of $1,000, $1,200 just because they've not provided the accurate payment for the conditions that they say they are. So, guys, I'm going to teach you some cool stuff. Remind 101. I think I almost required this, and in some ways I am requiring it. I got this Remind 101 program, texting program. I actually learned about it through my daughter's volleyball coach. She would send out text about what uniform to wear, practices have been changed, game time, game arrival, things like that. So it's really cool. It's anonymous. I'll send you text. I'll probably send 3 to 5 texts a week, just giving you, little reminders. Hey, you got an assignment due tonight. Don't forget. Get it turned in on time. Hey, videos have been uploaded. Watch them as soon as possible. Get your assignment. Just do things like that. And when you sign up for it, I don't get your phone number, so it's all anonymous, which is really cool. So, gang, I really, really, really want you to do this because this is going to be the way that the primary way I am going to stay in touch with you. And again, staying in touch is important, especially in an online class. So, if you have a smartphone, text at MATH1170F to the number 81010. Or if you don't have a smartphone but you still want to receive my text, you can get them via email. So from the email account that you check the most, send an email to math1170f at mail.remind.com. Nothing needs to go in the subject line or the body of the email. And then you'll get all the texts that I send for the class. All right. The most confusing, I think, thing about the class is the online course management system that I use. Guys, I use Mymathlab, and I used a textbook called Finite Mathematics for Business, Econ, Life Sciences, and Social Sciences by Barnett, Ziegler, and Bylene. There's two things you need to do. First of all, you need to get an access code. You can get your access code one of two ways. You can go to the bookstore here at Shawnee State and buy it. I think it's going to run you about $90. What you do is you get something that actually kind of looks like a lottery ticket in a way. It's like this cardboard thing you open up, you peel something back, and you get this number that you enter into Mymathlab. And I'll show you how to do that in just a second. Another way, save you about $15, is to go directly to Mymathlab and sign up directly through them. So it's up to you. Regardless whether you buy your activation code through the bookstore or directly through Mymathlab, you're going to need what's called a course ID. Guys, our course ID is Darbro 47717. Now, a couple of notes. Let's say you don't have the funds. Let's say your financial aid is running slow. Let's say you're just trying to check this out and see if you even want to stay in the class. You can get up to 2 14-day free trial course access options. That's a mouthful, isn't it? Now, to get the first 14 days, you use one email account. To get the second 14 days, you have to use another email account. I'm not going to allow you to do any more than 2 because I don't think it's fair to the people who spend their hard-earned money creating this thing and their energy and their time and intellectual capabilities to create this. I don't think it's fair to them. But if you need some time before you commit to the class for one reason or the other, please use a 14-day free trial course access option. So guys, don't be coming up here the first day assignment and say, which is due I think August 29th at 11 p.m. Don't come up and say, well, I couldn't submit it because I couldn't pay for Mymathlab. Now that's not cool because you don't need to be able to pay. You get a 14-day free trial course access option. And again, you can have up to 2 of those, so you could essentially get through the first month. Again, the only difference is the first 14 days you would have to use one email account. The second 14 days you'd have to use another email account. And then you have to keep me up to date so I can combine all your scores and get everything into one account. But guys, again, I'm not going to let you use any more than 2 of those because these people deserve to be paid. Second important note, I do my best to keep the grade that you see on Mymathlab up to date, but it just seems like Mymathlab does some wacky stuff behind the scenes from time to time. Example, last spring semester, I noticed that it had weighted one of the exams lower than one of the assignments. That's just not right. That's not the way your grade's going to be calculated. So I went in and I made the change and set the settings correctly, and a few students' grade went down. And they emailed me and they're like, how did my grade go down? They didn't even do anything. And I said, well, I made some corrections. Things were set wrong. And it was so hard to explain to them that, it's funny, I didn't hear from any of the students whose grade went up. But, that's the way it works. So anyway, I'll do my best to keep this grade as close as possible. But if you notice something's changed and you haven't submitted anything, then I was behind the scenes changing it to give you a better representation, or at least a better estimate of your true grade. Now, you can rest assured that when your final grade is to be calculated, I export everything from my Mymathlab to Excel, and I do all the calculations by hand so I know that they're correct. All right, Mymathlab assignments, due dates. Guys, videos and resources will be posted on Blackboard by Monday at 5 p.m., if not earlier. They're usually going to be earlier. Your assignments are due on Tuesdays at 11 p.m. Now, you might be thinking, Dr. Darbro, that's not really fair. You post your assignment on Monday, you post the resources and videos on Monday, and the assignments are due on Tuesday. Okay, stop. That's not actually the way it is. I post the assignments on a Monday at 5 p.m. By Monday at 5 p.m. Usually they're going to be up by noon. You have the rest of the day on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday up until 11 p.m. to submit the assignment. So all of the videos and resources for the assignment number 1, which is due on August 29th, they're actually already posted. But typically this would be posted on August the 21st. So 8 days earlier. So guys, there's really no reason to submit an assignment late. You got 8 days to watch assignments that are going to be about 2.5 hours, maybe 3 tops, and do an assignment that's going to take you about an hour to 2 hours. So about 5 hours a week you're going to have to commit to this class. But you got 8 days, usually about 8.5 days to do it. So, and guys, inevitably, you know, people are going to procrastinate, and computers are going to go down, internet service is going to go down, things like that. You know, I stick to my game on that, guys. I don't like excuses. I just don't. I give you plenty of time to do this stuff. So, guys, first 7 assignments. You'll have your midterm exam on Wednesday, October the 11th. More about that in just a second. You'll have your final exam on Wednesday, December the 13th. Now, a couple of notes, actually 3 notes. Note number 1, a 50% penalty will be assessed for work that is submitted after the due date. The penalty only applies to questions that are submitted late. Now, example. Let's say there are 10 questions, 10 points each, and you get to 9 of them, and you submit 9 questions out of 10 on time. So you're sitting there with a 90% on your assignment, but there's that one question, and you think, well, I'm going to go ahead and try it. And you end up getting it correct, so you get the 10 points, but because of the 50% penalty, you only get 5 of those points. So you would end up with a 95 instead of a 90. So the one question that was submitted after the due date, even though it was worth 10 points, you only receive half credit because it was submitted after the due date. It doesn't affect the questions that were submitted before the due date. Note number 2, you're not permitted to submit assignments 1 through 7 after taking your midterm. So all of these assignments back here that are geared toward preparing you for the midterm, once you take your midterm, you can no longer submit those. Same thing with assignments 8 through 16. These are geared toward preparing you for the final exam. Although the final exam is comprehensive, most of the final exam is going to be over the material covered in assignments 8 through 16. So once you take your final exam, you can no longer submit any assignments, even for 50% penalty. Note number 3, notice that all the assignments are due on Tuesday except one. Assignment number 10, which is would have been due on Tuesday, October 31st, which is Halloween. I'm not, I realize that some of you may have children or stuff. I just didn't want to compete with that. So I gave an extra day on assignment number 10, okay? Because of Halloween. All right. Supplemental Instructor. Guys, you have a Supplemental Instructor for this class. He's a graduate student of mine, Jacob Starinsky. He's already watched all the videos. He is prepared to help you. I figured that a lot of people are going to wait until the last minute to work on their assignments, so he's going to be available in the MATHLab on Tuesdays from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. So if you need help at the last minute, go see him. He can help you. If you're working ahead like you should, come see me during my office hours. All right, the midterm and final exam. This is the part that I don't understand why, but this is the part that is confusing to students. I think it's confusing because it's so simple. Exam number 1, which is your midterm, exam number 2, which is your final exam, are taken on Wednesday, October 11th and Wednesday, December the 13th. To take the exam, you can take the exam anywhere you want. If you like the computers on campus, then by all means come to campus and take your exam on one of these computers. If you like your computer and you prefer going on top of a mountain somewhere, as long as you get reliable internet service, then by all means go climb a mountain. You can take your exam wherever you want. You can use your notes. It's open book, open notes, right? But what you do is you specify a 2-hour time block during which time you will take your exam. So a day or two before Wednesday, October the 11th, send me an email and say, hey, Dr. Darber, I'd like to take my exam from, let's say you're an evening person, so you want to take it from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Then I'll go into MyMathLab and set your exam where it's available to you from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Maybe you're an early riser. Hey, Dr. Darber, I want to take it from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. Well, then I'm going to set it for 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. So guys, you can begin as early as 12:01 a.m., in which case your exam would be due at 2:01 a.m., or you could begin as late as 9:59 p.m., in which case it would be due at 11:59 p.m. So you get 2 hours. In the 2-hour time block, wherever you want that to fall, just let me know, and I'll set it up for you. In my feeling, the thing about the online is flexibility, because a lot of you have full-time jobs, a lot of you have children, a lot of you have a lot of responsibilities. Maybe you've got a night class, maybe you've got a morning class. So guys, all you got to do is be able to clear out 2 hours during each of these days to take your midterm and your final exam. Now, if according to ADA, you're entitled to extra testing time, then you must take your exam in the Student Success Center. So the maximum time I am going to permit for an unproctored exam is 2 hours. If you think you're going to need 3 or 4 hours or 5, and you have that accommodation in your under ADA, then you are required to take your exam in the Student Success Center. Guys, if you forget, you're going to get a 0. I had a student about a year ago. The online format just wasn't for her. She just wasn't disciplined enough to watch the videos and stay in tune with the class every week. And she completely just no-brained the exam. She just forgot about it. About 2 weeks later, she got on MyMathLab, she realized she had a 0 for the midterm exam, and of course she starts flipping out because, she wasn't flipping out before when she could do something about it. She started flipping out afterwards when she couldn't do anything about it. But, she flunked the class, and she ended up taking it face-to-face, which she should have. Guys, online is not for everyone. Is it for you? I don't know. Are you willing to watch 2 to 3 hours of videos a week? Are you willing to submit your assignments on time? Are you willing to check your email daily or sign up for Remind, even better? If you are, you're going to be successful, more than likely. If not, you're not going to be successful. Calculating your final grade, exam number 1, exam number 2. Again, this is your midterm. It's 35% of your grade. Exam number 2 is your final. That's 35%. And MyMathLab and sneaky quizzes are 30%. Now, before I explain what the sneaky quizzes stands for, let me tell you about the note, okay? If you submit all assignments by the due date and you score higher on the final exam than you did on the midterm, then I'll replace your midterm score with your final exam score. I do not do the reverse. If you do really well in the midterm and you bomb the final, then you're just going to get the score on the final that you bombed. But my feeling is, since the final exam is comprehensive, maybe you didn't get it at the midterm, but you ended up getting it in the end, and you demonstrate that to me on your final exam, then I'm willing to go back and change your midterm score with your higher final exam score if you submit all assignments by the due date. So guys, when I look at your MyMathLab account, any assignment that's been submitted late, even if it's a question, one question, it'll have a star by it. If I look down your assignments and you have a star, then I'm not going to replace exam number 1 with exam number 2. You have to do this to earn the right to get this, to implement this policy. Sneaky quizzes. Throughout the videos, I'm going to sneak in some quizzes that have nothing to do with math. I might start playing a song and say, hey, send me an email, tell me the name of the song, and it has to be submitted to me, the email does, before your next assignment is due. These sneaky quizzes are worth 25 points. You either get a 0 or you get 25 points if you submit it. I'll tell you another thing I did, and I may even do it this semester. I was just kind of messing around one day, being kind of goofy in one of the videos because I get bored after a while, and I do this stuff to entertain myself. And I said something like, Yeehaw, Jester's dead. And I said, I'll tell you what, let's make that a sneaky quiz. If you can tell me what movie that's from, then you're going to get 25 points. If I don't hear from you, you get 0. So everybody, you know, either knew the movie Top Gun or they Googled it. And of course, I had a couple people like, well, I'm not an expert in movies. And I'm like, give me a break. you get on Google and you Google it and you figure out it's going to come up. You're going to get like 1.8 million hits. And it's going to be the first one. It's going to say Top Gun. You send me an email and say Top Gun and you get your 25 points out of 25. So it's not going to be anything that's going to take too much work. It's really just, are you watching the videos? And this is kind of a barometer for me to figure that out. Guys, grading scale, nothing fancy there. It's I don't know, I've used it for years. Good news, as long as you get 50% or higher, you pass the class. Speaking of sneaky quizzes, all right, by Tuesday, August 29th at 11 p.m., I'm going to highlight it. If you send an email to me at ddarbro@shawnee.edu, number 1, tell me your name and your preferred email address. Number 2, tell me something interesting about you. There is nothing interesting about me is not a legal answer. If you will type these words, even copy paste, type these words and send that to me in an email, you get 25 out of 25 points on your quiz 0. If you don't, if you've already checked out, you said, I can't listen to this video anymore, just don't have the self-discipline to sit here and do it the right way, then you're not going to get this because you didn't watch all the video, and you get 0 out of 25. So it's just the way things go. I used to give attendance quizzes when I was teaching face-to-face classes. So these sneaky quizzes are kind of my version of attendance quizzes, attendance points for when I taught this class face-to-face. All right, gang, that's about it. Let's get out of here and see what's up with MyMathLab. So, guys, if you go back to content, you'll see that I have a folder, MyMathLab. Now, if you click that, first of all, if you click this, I have put up a video that shows you exactly how to get a 14-day temporary access code. And if you come on down, I give you the instructions on how to do the student registration to get into our account. So guys, all you got to do is just follow these instructions and you will be registered as a student. Now, I've got a link here to MyMathLab, but for some reason it wasn't working earlier. I'm going to work on that. So what I'm going to do now is just open up a new tab and I'm just going to type in MyMathLab. All right, so I'm going to hit it. After you've already created your account, you can sign in. And you're going to see something a little different than me because you know, I'm an instructor, so I'm going to click your all's class. Now, There's a lot of stuff going on here, discussions and tutor service and course tools and all this, but primarily when you come to this MyMathLab, there's going to be two things you're going to look at. You're going to look at homework and you're going to look at gradebook. Are the other things relevant? Yeah, they're relevant. But what's most relevant is come here to do your homework, and you can see that I've already uploaded assignment number 1. And you're going to want to come to your gradebook from time to time to see what's your grade. Okay? So right now we've got homework to start assignment number 1, which is due August the 29th at 11 p.m. Click this. Guys, there are 5 questions. Here are the point values of each question. I would probably start with question number 1. You start with whatever question you want to. And we're getting into a break-even point. You might say, well, I don't know anything about break-even. That's what the videos are for. In the videos, I teach you how to find the break-even point. So watch the videos, keep good notes, so when you encounter a question like this, you don't have to go back and re-watch the videos to try to find that example. You just go to your notebook and say, oh yeah, there's a problem Darbro taught me. I'm going to use that problem to work this problem. Okay? So guys, that's the way it works. It's very simple. Watch the videos. Watch them anytime you want. You got 8 days to watch them. Submit your assignment on MyMathLab, and then it starts over again. Okay, we'll move on to assignment number 2. So guys, I think that's it. I do want to show you, I don't know if I've got it on this computer or not. I was going to show you the, let me see if I got the Texas Instrument 8384 on here. I don't believe I do. Well, anyway, there's going to be plenty of that soon enough. So, guys, I'm looking forward to having a great semester. I think you guys are really going to like the online class, especially the way that I teach it. I don't turn you loose. I actually teach the material, and then you do your assignments, take your exams, and get this class behind you. So take care.